Hey everybody, welcome to the Leader Lab. This is Leadership Shorts, quick thoughts to help you level up your leadership. My name is Chad Wright, the founder of Forward Partners. I am joined by my partner in podcasting, Emily Grace Deal. Emily Grace Deal, what are we talking about today?
A question of how can we do a better job of getting buy-in from our teams?
Okay.
Like the temptation of speed often causes leaders to make really fast decisions
Yes.
and roll them out without ever properly getting buy-in and having that conversation beforehand. So
it's funny you said the temptation of speed because it really is. Fast is good, right? And
let's go.
Yeah, and we've talked in previous episodes, like if we can move fast steadily, great. If we can't, we slow down. And this is kind of a piece of that, because if we're not getting buy-in from our people and having them help us figure these things out, then we're not actually moving steadily. Because when we don't get buy-in, it creates chaos and it creates a lack of clarity. And so ultimately, it really is our job, if we're going to create steadiness and that sustainability, to get buy-in. So let's talk about how to do that a little bit. And the way we do that is we have a framework that we give to people. Again, my favorite thing in the world is creating a framework to solve a problem. And what I recognized was all the organizations we're working with that struggled with this, they would go from idea to choice immediately. I have an idea. Now I'm going to make a choice and just start rolling it out.
Let's get it done. Let's make an action for it, yeah.
Which I get. Like on StrengthsFinder, my top strength is activator, which is take it from idea to reality fast. I want that, right? And I think most leaders want that.
Is that also like the practical, that visionary part coming in? You're like, let's go.
Yeah, the visionary part is not as practical.
See it here
I just want
now.
to. Yes, I want to make the choice. I want it to happen.
Before you stop and think about.
100%. I think a lot of leaders, they kind of fall into that, and so they skip from idea to choice. And there is a super, super important middle step. Instead of idea to choice, it's idea and then immediately to who. Who does this affect? Who will be involved in this? Who will this in some way change the way they do things, right?
Yeah.
Because what happens when we ask that question, now, again, we're talking about considering other people. Now our next step is to go talk to them. And this is where it hurts, because it does slow it down. Because we love idea choice versus idea, okay, who? Well, there's 4 people. Great. There's 4 conversations I have to go have.
That's going to affect the pace of getting that.
It is going to affect the pace. It's probably going to affect the idea itself. Because here's the beauty of this, though. If we slow down long enough to have those 4 conversations, a couple things are going to happen. One, they're going to protest a little. Like, here's why I don't like this idea. Great, let's hear it.
Well, because you've also had it for a minute. You've been ruminating on it. You've been thinking about it. And then now you're just like, okay, here it is. Get to where I'm at quickly so we can keep going.
Yes. But if we create space for them to process, because they're going to push back on the idea probably in some ways, and some of those might be legitimate. Now, some might not be. Some might be fear-based. Some might be territorial. And so it's not really legitimate. But at least they get to voice it, and they get to feel heard. But occasionally we'll find those couple things, go, oh, yeah, that's actually a good point. That makes the idea better. So then they actually have something involved in this. So by having all of those individual conversations and taking time to do that, that's come up with the idea, go to who. Their feedback will then help shape the idea. And now it has gone from, it's kind of like expectations versus agreements, which is what we'll talk about in the next episode. It has gone from, I have an idea, now go make it happen, to I have an idea, now they're speaking into it. Now we're co-creating.
Yeah.
We're building this together. Yeah. That's where the buy-in ultimately comes from, is I was heard and I helped create this thing. Now it is not just you going to sell things to the whole organization. It's everybody involved in this. We feel valued. We feel heard, because what happens when we go from idea to choice, we're basically saying to that other person, we don't value you.
And even if that choice is good, you're still like,
yes,
no, it's terrible because I didn't have any input in it. I didn't
100%.
feel heard. I didn't feel like that meant now it's been forced upon me. Now what? Now I have to live with this.
Now I'm unhappy. You no longer have an ally to help you go sell this idea. You have somebody to grumble about it, right?
Right.
And it's funny because it could be a good choice overall. And this goes back to what we talk about all the time. How we do things matters as much as what we do. So we can do good things, but if how we go about it is really damaging, that's a real problem. And so as leaders, we want to find out, how are we considering other people and bringing them into this?
Yeah.
And so I think we go through that process slower. We just say idea. We can make the idea behind closed doors, but we're not making the choice behind closed doors. We're taking it out with the who. Get that co-creation, get that buy-in. Now we're going to actually make the choice, and now we're going to go communicate it.
Yeah.
And so if we can just keep that important, slow down enough to have that important step of who, things start to change. Yeah. So if you have ever historically struggled to get buy-in, because anytime you're leading change, it's exhausting. You have to have really buy-in to do that, but it's hard to do. So consider this. Look at your process. See how fast you're going from idea to choice. Are you considering people? Are you having them come in and co-create things? That's going to make a huge difference in getting buy-in, leading change, and being able to move forward. If somebody wants to send questions, if they're struggling with buy-in, they're struggling with teams, they're struggling with any kind of aspect of leadership, where do they send those questions to?
They send it to lab@forwardpartners.net.
Lab@forwardpartners.net. If they want to engage with all the content we're putting out around these ideas, where do they do that?
@forwardpartner.
@forwardpartner. Thank you so much for doing this. Danny, thank you for producing. Wilco Workspaces, thank you for partnering with us on this. We will see you next time right here in the Leader Lab for Leadership Shorts.